Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Double Coverage, the premier NFL podcast of the Gin Sports Network. I'm John J. II here with Musa Basal. Musa, how we doing today, man?
Pretty good. I've had to bring out the Hutchinson jersey. It's been a while. With all this Michigan success going on, I've been really representing Michigan, but wanted to throw back to the Lions and Hutchinson because he's been playing such a great football this year. So loving to see that.
Hey, man, it's not too far off. Hutchinson is a Michigan alum, so I think you're in the same ballpark there and got a little bit of crossover with the Detroit Lions as well, which I know you're a devout fan of. Got a big game against the Jags this weekend. Must-win game. Should have won that game against the Bills. I mean, do we want to talk about that for a quick second? What happened in that game? I mean, that's just another nail-biter loss. I think the Lions did everything they could. I was in front of my TV screaming in that game, and I've never seen myself do that. Nobody has, actually, for a long time. But, it's Thanksgiving. You want to see the Lions win. And, I don't know, they just fell short. I guess, what do you have to say about that game?
Yeah, I don't know. Like for this one, it was different for me. They've had close games this year, and it's been like, ouch, they should have won. They should have won. And it's like even like going back to last year, losing to those so many last second field goals like they did against this Bills team. But I think they played a really good game this time around. They were in it the whole time, and they were playing and fighting. It was a really really good Bills team that just put a showing on this Patriots team. There was an amazing clip rolling around from that Patriots game where Matt Patricia was just like in shock, rubbing his beard, frustrated. And I love nothing more than that because as a Lions fan, we hate him, and I hate seeing him succeed. So him in frustration is always a good sign.
Yeah, Matt Patricia, he is not very well liked in Detroit. I think that's a statement that is supported by a lot of Lions fans, Detroit fans, even people that aren't Lions fans like myself. I would support that. Just he didn't do anything good, anything positive for the program. he had a lot of high hopes because he was coming from a very successful Patriots coaching core. So people had high hopes with Matt Patricia. People were like, oh yeah, Matt Patricia. I've seen him on TV. I see him, in Belichick's ear back when Brady played and they're winning Super Bowls. And this guy knows how to win. This guy knows what it's like to be around a winning program. And there was a lot of high hopes going into his regime in Detroit, and it just didn't amount to anything. And he didn't do anything for the culture. I think that was even worse than the losses that they incurred, and the performance on the field is his lack of culture as far as bringing that into the locker room and bringing it onto the field. We just didn't see that with Matt Patricia, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I guess you move on, and now I think they have that in Dan Campbell and the regime that he's running. And I see a completely different Detroit Lions team. Even with that loss against the Bills on Thanksgiving, I see a completely different Detroit Lions squad. I see a mindset shift. I see a change. I see a different fire that's been lit underneath this Detroit Lions team. So I have high hopes. I think they win this weekend, and hopefully they win out and cover that limit that they have to hit to qualify for the playoffs. So I'm hoping for them. I'm pulling for them, and I'm wishing them all the best. So it is what it is, and we hope. We got to have high hopes for this Detroit Lions team because they didn't have the best of starts. I think as we know that to start from where they did to get to where they are now with the vision and the path to the playoffs that they have now, I think is a long way. They came a long way this season, and the sky's the limit, I think, going forward into next season. And hopefully they can just keep compounding on the successes that they've had. So moving on, we got to talk about some breaking news, some stuff that's been resurfaced, some dirty laundry that's been aired, and it regards Jerry Jones, the coach of the Dallas, or not the coach, he's the owner. Jeez, he's not the coach. But this does regard coaches, though. It does regard coaches and the coaching staff historically within the Detroit or Dallas Cowboys team. Can't get the Detroit Lions out of my mind. But this Dallas Cowboys team, they've been under fire, and obviously they're doing well right now. So we're going to see, we're going to see some controversy pop up. And I'll just pull the image up on the screen right now if I can. And basically, it is a photo from 1957 of a 14-year-old Jerry Jones. He's in the background there, and this is in Little Rock during the desegregation of schools back in those days, and there's a lot of tumultuous events happening down in the Deep South during this time. I guess, Musa, what is your backstory? What do you know about this image, and what can you tell the people about it?
So, yeah, I mean, this is a monumental time in history for the U.S. when the president was ordering for schools to be desegregated, and they had to get a lot of involved. There was a lot of controversy over it, and there was not a universal agreement of desegregating schools. And this was them trying to escort these new students who were African American into this previously all-white school, and you can see them meeting resistance. Now, Jerry Jones is kind of in the middle, in the back. You see you see the cameraman right there. So, yep, right here. That's Jerry Jones, all the way there in the back. He isn't up front like the guy with the cigarette in his mouth, like confronting the kids, not trying to fight them. He's just kind of spectating. And I've seen a lot of people take issue with this photo, and I've seen people like LeBron James calling out like the media for not bothering him about this photo, but they're bothering him about Kyrie Irving's takes and what he was saying. So I'm kind of like you might not agree with me on this one, but like he probably shouldn't have been there. He's admitted that he was wrong, but he was just kind of like he was a curious 14-year-old kid trying to spectate what was going on. He didn't know like this was going to have this giant impact on history, and he wasn't really fighting. Like I know for a fact that if there was a fight at my school, I was probably right there watching, seeing what was going on, trying to figure out what's going on. Kind of curious. He was also a freshman at the time, probably like about less than 14 days into school. I think even less than a week in school. We don't know exact dates, but he's brand new to this high school. He's brand new to high school, just started, and there's this giant, like, controversial, like, fight going on, and he was curious what was going on, and he's admitted he was wrong, and he's kind of gave like an inside point of view on it. And I saw a lot of reporters trying to bait him into a trap, like, "Oh, do you regret being there? Why were you there?" And things like that. And he was like, "Obviously, I shouldn't have been there. I didn't know the significance of what was going to happen. I was at the time. I was just more worried that my coaches were going to eat me out for this and kind of give me the ass whooping for this, but which they did. He confirmed that they did, but they're kind of trying to bait him into like giving a wrong response. They want to see him slip up. And then I see some people comparing this to, oh, Jerry Jones is racist, so that's why he barely hires any like black coaching staff. As you know, there's been an issue in the NFL recently where there's a minority of coaches that are African American. It's mainly old white guys. So they're trying to blame this on Jerry Jones, saying he's racist for this reason and that. So I kind of like have to take issue with that because you can't conclude that from a photo that was taken 75 years ago when he was 14. Believe it or not, Jerry Jones is 80 years old right now. You're gonna hold someone from the past who wasn't really, he was just a bystander at an event that happened.
Yeah, I agree, and I've got to acknowledge the fact that I'm amazed by how much media there is here in this image. Back in 1957, there's a lot of cameras. I'm assuming those are video cameras. They look like they're eye doctor equipment, but there's just lenses everywhere. There's guys with microphones attached to camcorders, ginormous camcorders. There's someone's being interviewed. But yeah, I mean, they're airing the dirty laundry. Obviously, he's a successful white man that resides in Dallas, Texas. He's going to receive some fire if people find an image like this. They're going to have a field day with it. And it seems like they're doing that. You got people in the NBA, like you said, Kyrie Irving, and you got LeBron James chirping and chiming into something that is completely out of their reach. It's something that is not even within their same league. And I think that's unfortunate. First of all, I think LeBron James should take the high road more times than not. He does this all the time. He puts his hand in something that he should never put his hand into, and it's kind of unfortunate to see that happen and to see Jerry Jones get dragged through the mud, especially considering all the African American athletes that he has on his team that he roots for. He's trying to get OBJ right now, Dak Prescott. Him and Jerry Jones are like father and son. I feel like they're so close, but. You're going to see this happen, and it's unfortunate. Should he have been there? Probably not. I mean, did he know that he was going to get his image taken? And 75 years later, he'd be trying to defend himself in front of reporters about it? Probably not. But like you said, you see a commotion, you see something happening wherever, you're going to be drawn to that. It's a natural human instinct. As we can see, there's a lot of people in the background, and there's a lot of people here. Whatever's going on, it seems like there's some action happening. So naturally, you're going to be drawn to that. You know, like you said, you see a fight in the hallway, you're going to be drawn to it. Oh, who's getting their ass kicked? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And you're going to be drawn to something like that. So I guess, in my opinion, I don't think he should have to really defend himself and say, no, I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have been at school. I mean, how are you going to say, oh, I'm not supposed to be at school? I'm at school, so you should be praising me for that. But it's just not a good look, and especially given the cultural and racial climate that we're dealing with today in America, it's kind of something that people are going to have a field day with if they want to try to take Jerry Jones down. Obviously, he's been the man as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys for a long time, and he's been in that program for a long time. The franchise, he's had his hands in that for a long time, so people are going to come at him, and especially given the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are doing well right now. That's even another reason to try to bring somebody down. So
Yeah,
we're gonna.
I mean, I encourage you to go watch the video of him being interviewed by the reporters and everything. And he's apologized, and he said he's happy that we've moved past this, and he wants to work on making sure this situation never happens again. He doesn't want the U.S. to be like this, and I think you can see it in his voice, and you can see it in his face that he genuinely means what he was saying, and I feel like. Me personally, like I felt he was telling the truth on this situation. He was just curious. He wasn't intentionally trying to do anything wrong. He wasn't trying to be racist or do anything along those lines. So I think people are going to blow out of proportion. And like the biggest thing is he apologized. Kyrie Irving did not apologize for what he said and what he posted on his Instagram story with the anti-Semitic stuff. And LeBron James is getting involved because, I mean, my speculation is LeBron wants to get Kyrie Irving onto the same team. He's trying to recruit him to the team, and that's public knowledge. So he's kind of playing that long game there. That's why I think LeBron is sticking his nose where it doesn't really belong.
Yeah, we've seen that happen too with LeBron in a lot of different areas. And you mentioned the anti-Semitism, and it's crazy because in the light of the whole Kanye issue on Alex Jones's show, I mean he's just saying some outlandish stuff, and I was giving Kanye the benefit of the doubt for a long time, but after what just happened, I mean he crossed the line and crossed into a different realm. And obviously what he said, and we're not going to get too much into this right now. Maybe the GSN will talk more about it, but he went off on a limb. I think he went off the deep end, and I can't see him really gaining anything out of what he's trying to do. And if he's speaking his mind, then that's what he truly believes in. I think he misspoke. I still want to. I want to think and I want to say that he didn't mean to say the things that he said, and I don't even want to repeat them on here. But it's just kind of unfortunate that we're seeing that kind of come to the forefront, and this breeding of racism, anti-Semitism, and I don't know. It's just not a good look for anybody participating in that type of activity. We're already divided. We're already polarized as much as we are as a country, and it's just we don't need that. We don't need that. I'd like to think that racism is an isolated issue that you have to handle circumstance by circumstance. I would like to think that it's not an institutionalized deal. But when you see things like this and you see major stars, and I'm mostly talking about the Kanye thing, and too, you see it time and time again, where you see different individuals experiencing this type of stuff, and they delve into different arguments and whatnot, and they try to speak their mind, and they think that they have an audience to listen to them, but in the reality of it is they're just making themselves look like idiots, and they're tarnishing their names without even knowing it a lot of times. I mean, I don't know what Kanye really aimed to gain from that Alex Jones interview. I don't know.
Publicity. I mean, if he wants attention, he's doing exactly it
Oh,
wants.
he's got it. He's got it, and he's losing deals. He's losing different. There's a big producer that just said that he's never going to work with Kanye again. I think he's lost all of his connections with Adidas and the Yeezy brand. So it's a mess for Kanye right now. I don't know if he's going through He's got to be going through something personally in his personal life. But we're kind of getting to the weeds now, and I wish Kanye all the best. I mean, he's a great artist. You can't really take that away from him. All the accolades that he's gained and that he's racked up over the years, you can't really take all that stuff away from him. But even looking and listening to his music now, thinking about what he's said publicly and he's supported time and time again, it's really hard to still support the guy, even looking back at his discography, going back to the past. So I wish him Godspeed. I hope he finds the help that he needs. And I don't know how he comes out of this, but if he can find a way, then props to him. Let's move on. Let's talk about Russell Wilson and his birthday party. What can you tell me about his birthday that just happened, Musa? It wasn't favorable. What do you have to say about it?
So yeah, I mean, I know it was on one of the only days the Broncos had an off day. So you would think that the players would have plenty of time to stop by, say hi to him, but a lot of players did not show up to his party. A lot of players didn't come to him on his birthday and kind of like spend the day with him. So that really shows you he has lost his locker room. Like you could have seen it. You can see on the sidelines with some of his like players chewing him out. But like this really, really shows like they don't believe in Russ and they're frustrated and they're disappointed because when you trade for Russ and you give him that 5-year contract worth over $40 million a year, and he's playing, quite frankly, he's playing worse than any quarterback in the league. He is. I mean, I think Sam Darnold is playing better than him, and Sam Darnold's not even a starter. I think he was just beaten by him with the Carolina Panthers. They just put him in, and they're having a QB mess over there. They've tried so many QBs this year, and you get beaten by Sam Darnold. It's not a good look, and players are frustrated. Players had enough, and when you're getting paid that much money behind, I think he's the second highest paid quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers per year. Obviously, not fully guaranteed, but he got the contract. He's gotten the money, and he has yet to deliver. And I can't blame players for being frustrated. I mean, fans are getting frustrated. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough for Russell Wilson fans. It's tough for Denver Broncos fans. I mean, at a certain point too, you can put a lot of blame on Nathaniel Hackett, but it comes to a point where is Nathaniel Hackett under center? Is he taking snaps and is he delivering the football to receivers and running backs? No, that's Russell Wilson doing that. And like you said, I think he's losing traction completely at this point. I think he's losing complete traction of his locker room and of his team because if people aren't coming to his birthday party, something that's completely unrelated to football, then he isn't too close with. I mean, I'm sure he has a core group of guys that he is close with and people that have, that he is taken under his wing because likely he's the veteran with a lot of the players that he's with and that he's associating with. But I'm sure that it's been difficult for him, especially given the fire that Denver has been taking for playing so poorly and losing so many 50-50 games where everyone's kind of dealing with that. And they know that Russell Wilson is a big factor to why that is. And I'm sure a lot of these athletes, too, that might not be even see the field that much, or they might be linemen, or they might be guys that are skills guys. You can see them taking heat for just their team not doing well. So, incidentally, they're taking a lot of that that heat. They're taking a lot of that stuff that is not good. A lot of the bad energy is being geared towards them, and they know that a lot of it is not their fault directly. So they're going to take that out on who has more direct control of that outcome, and that is Russell Wilson. He has to take more accountability. He said it in press conferences. He said that he has a high expectation rate of his team, but also he is very high spirited. He is very positive. So you'd think that those types of things would go beyond the game of football. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's the case. It doesn't seem like he's really. You can say that he's not in control of the locker room. He might not be that close with that many people in Denver. He's still very new there. So you can see that happening, and it's just unfortunate. I want better for Russell. I know you do too. You're a big Russell Wilson guy. I know he's a stand-up guy. I know, and I don't know him personally, but from what I've seen, he's and he could be the biggest dickhead in the world off camera. I guess I really don't know, but from what I've seen, he looks like a down-to-earth guy that wants him and his accolades to do well and to be successful on and off the football field. And unfortunately, we just haven't seen that on paper. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people are fed up with is the fake look he kind of puts on for social media. Kind of, he's always like, especially like recently with the rumors of his players being traded if they didn't get I think Jerry Judy was in a rumor of being traded if they didn't win in London, and he's like, he just went up to them. Yeah, I told them they're really good players, so they're gonna the better they are, the more rumors are gonna be in trades and whatever. And like it's kind of like just pushing the blame away from him. He's not taking accountability, and I think that's what's frustrating a lot of players. It's like there's no accountability there. Like you're playing like crap, so you're instead of this team thinking like, okay, maybe we need to start a whole new rebuild and trade away our players. Instead of taking that accountability, it's more like, no, they're just good players. They're great players. Not, oh, I suck, or I obviously he's not gonna come out and say that, but like not taking any accountability. So I think that's an issue I've noticed with the players are having with him. He kind of just puts on this fake look, like everything's okay and everything's fine, even though it really isn't fine.
Yeah, and when you talk about accountability, I think there's a percentage there where I would say it's 65-35. It's 65 on Russ and 35 on the rest of the team. You are very responsible. You could even say, you could go as far as saying 70-30, I think.
Yeah.
You have to take a good amount of that accountability on yourself. If you do that first and then kind of finish up with saying, we got to do better as a team. Our chemistry's got to do better. We got to be more close-knit. We got to be on the same page more and just get the job done on the field. Say something uplifting, be positive, take accountability for your own shortcomings, and then maybe gloss in some of the shortcomings of the entire team. You're still bringing yourself into that conversation, but you're not pushing the blame onto other players or other sections of the team, offensively or defensively, or even coaching-wise. So you got to be careful there. And like you said, I think you're right. I don't think he's been taking enough accountability on himself, on Russell Wilson. There hasn't been enough fingers pointed from Russell Wilson towards Russell Wilson, and I think that needs to happen more because it's not all Nathaniel Hackett. Is a lot of it Nathaniel Hackett? Yes, it is. He's an issue. I guess does he stay here in Broncos territory going into 2023, or do you think he's gone?
If I am the owner of this team, he's gone. I mean, it's pretty obvious he sucks. And so, like, I'll say this. I think Russ, if you have a good coach under them, he'll play well. And I think we saw that with Seattle. Like Pete Carroll made sure he managed Russell Wilson. They ran the ball and they didn't make Russ make these big plays. And I think that's why we saw him so successful with the Seahawks. He wanted to cook. He wanted to get out because he wanted to cook. He wanted to be like the person in charge. He wanted to be this great quarterback, but I don't think he's the quarterback people thought he was. I think he was being managed very well by Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll knew all along that Russ wouldn't do well without a good coach, without a coach really keeping him on a leash. I think he needs a leash, and I don't think Nathaniel Hackett is a guy to keep him on the leash because he hasn't proven it to us yet, and I don't think he will. I don't think he'll get the chance to unless he somehow magically wins out this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like even if they win out, they still have so much left to do, and there's so much to be done to this team. Where I don't know, I can't really think of another team that has had this type of expectations and fallen on their face so hard.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I want the Broncos to do well. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Broncos fans out there. Denver's a really huge fan base that they really like their sports. They take pride in their sports. So they need a team that can do well. They're a win now team. I use that term in the GCP all the time, talking about win now programs in the college football scene. They're a win now team, and they have to be, and they haven't been for a while. So they need to kind of get back on that horse and get back on that Bronco train, because if they don't, they're going to fall to the wayside, and they're going to be a team that just kind of gets forgotten about. They get lost in the shuffle, and they'll be worthless here in a couple years. So they're going to have to get their act together, and whether it's Russell Wilson, whether it's Nathaniel Hackett, they just got to figure it out and start putting some wins in the win column. That's what they got to do. So wish them Godspeed. That's all we can do, though. Moving on, let's talk about Antonio Brown. He is back in the news. Surprise, surprise, he is back in the news now for a warrant that is out for his arrest regarding a battery charge that happened on the 28th of November regarding a woman. And he's still supposedly living and residing in the Tampa Bay region. I guess, is this a surprise to you hearing this news about Antonio Brown, or is this just more of the same?
talk about someone who loves publicity. It's AB. He loves being in the news. He loves the headlines. He loves the attention. Never going to be shocked to see an Antonio Brown headline. And I think pretty soon here enough, they're just going to get sick of it and he's going to die down. Anytime he starts to die down and he starts being relevant, some giant thing comes out against him and boom, he's right back to the top of the news. And so, someone once said, no publicity is bad publicity. And I think AB lives by that motto. And so I'm never shocked to see him in the news. I'm just waiting for the day where people no longer care anymore. People are just sick of it and people are just fed up. There's like, why do we need to know about AB? Why are we giving him what he wants? He wants the attention and we're giving it to him.
Yeah, we're handing it to him on a silver platter. He's getting exactly what he wants. And I mean, it's constantly, and yeah, I think you're right. He lives by that mentality. Any publicity is good publicity. No publicity is bad publicity. And it's insane to have that mentality, especially if you're still of age where you could still be playing at a wide receiver position for some NFL team. You could do that. He could do that. I don't know how he's funding his life. I mean, does he have investments? What's going on? Is he working a job? What's he doing? I guess I see on here too. Looks like he's working on his music career. So it looks like that's a new endeavor for AB. I don't know how that's going for him or how it will go, but I don't know. Do we even want to wish him the best? I mean, it seems like this guy's a degenerate.
I don't, I just can't. I mean, I wanted him, like, after everything that happened with like Tampa and like, yeah, I'm sure they tried to make him play injured. I'm sure he went through some stuff. And like I was like, I hope he gets what he needs. I hope he gets the help he needs. And I was hoping for him. But I think he's proved to us that he doesn't want that. He doesn't care about the NFL anymore. He doesn't care about playing football. He just cares about attention, attention, attention. And like I can't sit here and wish him the best anymore when I've tried. I've wanted to see him succeed because he is one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen. And it's a shame that he threw away his career like that. And it's just, team could really use him. Like the Dallas Cowboys could really use him right now. So many teams would kill to have a receiver like AB, but you can't sign him. You just can't. He's gonna end up doing something stupid, and then you're gonna be like, releasing him, and you're gonna get a lot of backlash if you would sign AB. So I think his
That's the
career
true.
is.
That's the true. That's the true disservice to the entire NFL community, to the teams. You think about all these different wide receivers that are inactive right now. There's tons of them. They're either going through the transfer portal, or they're inactive, or they're free agents, or And I could go on and on about lists of receivers, but Antonio Brown's on there for sure, and then you got OBJ as well, just to name a few of the big ones. Where does OBJ land? I don't know. I guess with all this Jerry Jones stuff, does he still go to Dallas? Is that still even a possibility?
He
I
signed
know
with
he's
the
going to be
Lions.
calling for a big price tag. Same as AB. He's going to be calling for a big price tag too. They're both gifted receivers. They're good enough to be able to command those types of price tags for themselves, regardless of the salary caps of whatever franchise decides to take them on or even offer them a deal. They have opportunities out there in the NFL. So, Antonio Brown just needs to get his shit together. Really, that's what it boils down to.
I'm
And
not sure
I
if
don't
you've.
think he'll ever do it.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
if
he
you've
will.
seen his snap stories. There's no way. He acts like a 5-year-old.
I haven't seen his snap stories, but I do know he went to Central Michigan, and I know they're wild over there in CMU and Mount Pleasant. So just for him to make it out of there and to be as successful as he is, I mean, that's impressive. But that's kind of the culture that they breed over there in Mount P. For all my CMU chips out there, I think you can attest to that. I don't know. I always like to wish everyone all the best, but with AB, it's really hard to do.
I mean,
So.
just take a solid look at his snap stories. You'll be wondering why this guy has social media, why he's even able to access the internet and stuff he posts on Snapchat. It's kind of weird and a little disturbing.
Oh man, I might have to just take your word for it. Oh boy. All right. Well, hey, that's enough for today. Musa, you got any final thoughts, final words for the people before we send them into the weekend?
No, I mean, look forward to next week. We might have some guests on here, so keep an eye out for that podcast next week. It can get interesting, a little fun, a little change up to this 2-person podcast. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
looking
excited
forward to
for that
that.
too. We got, yeah, like you said, Musa, we got some guests that we're talking with, that we're trying to get on the show. Some really high profile guests that are really going to assist and aid the podcast in a major way, especially the DCP. But we're also working on getting guests and getting people to hop on other podcasts that we have in the Gin Podcast Network. So we're looking forward to all that stuff. I know you guys love us. You love me and Musa. I've heard it from you guys. So thank you for those accolades. But we're trying to make this podcast and this show even better for you guys on a weekly basis. So I want to appreciate and send my support to everybody that's been supporting us. Thank you very much throughout this journey. And it's been a long journey, but we're by far and away, we're not even close to the finish line yet. So just keep focused and keep ready for whatever we throw at you guys next. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on our social media. Follow us on Twitter at GymPros. Both of our personal socials are in the description of the podcast. Follow us on IG at Gin Sports Network and at Gym Promotions. And yeah, follow our website. Go to our website, turn our notifications on for all of our new articles, IG posts, and podcasts, etc. And we're looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much again. This has been the Double Coverage Podcast with Musa and John Jay. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football, and we'll see you guys soon. See ya.